My 24F boyfriend, 25M, of 2 years broke up with me because I don't want kids. I am completely heartbroken. I love this guy so much that it's killing me inside. I saw a future with him and was planning to move in with him in June. I was so excited about it, and out of nowhere he decided to break up with me, all because I don't want kids. For the kids that don't even exist, he destroyed our 2-year relationship. A few days ago the topic of kids came up when he told me that his sister gave birth to her first child and he was so happy. I told him that I don't want kids at all, but he said nothing about it and I also shrugged it off. This was my first time telling him that I don't want kids since the topic never came up. I am a very career-oriented and I have seen that women can't go ahead in their career because of their kids, and the prime example is my mom. Also, in this era, having kids means lot of financial burden which comes with complete physical and mental exhaustion. So I have decided I don't want kids at all. He said that he wants best for both of us and it's good if we part our ways now because in future it will be very difficult. He told me that I don't have to blame it on me for our breakup because I have every right not wanting to have kids, and I don't have to make any compromise or change my decision just because of him or to save this relationship. He is everything I want and I doubt I find someone even close to him. He has been my shoulder during my worst times. He has always supported me my every situation. I still can't accept that he broke up with me. I have been crying since then. Is there anything I can do to get him back, or this is my fate? He is in the right here. This is the best thing for you both. You can now go on and find someone who doesn't want kids. And he can find someone who does. Only way to get him back is to have kids. Do not have kids just because someone else wants them. Move on. Find someone who is compatible with your views. For the kids that don't even exist, he destroyed our 2-year relationship. No, he ended the relationship for the kids he won't have with you. Different goals in life. Date child-free people. I agree with him. And this is coming from someone who doesn't want kids either. It's better to cut things off while you can, before moving in together, as it can be more difficult in the future, and he will end up recent in you if you want kids, and you might end up recent in him for having kids for his sake. This is a very important topic to be discussed before you get into a more serious relationship. I am sorry this came to him breaking up with you, but you need a partner that has that same mindset. If not, later on it would break the relationship. This is a super valid reason to end a relationship. Probably should have had that convo or touched on it after year 1. I know this is hard, but people who are not on the same page about having kids is a deal breaker. You wouldn't want him to force you to have kids, and you shouldn't want him to give up wanting kids for you. It just leads to resentment. Honestly, this is such a major make or break issue. I'm surprised it hadn't come up before this point. Breaking up was the right thing to do. You are completely incompatible on a major issue that there is no middle ground or compromise for. You say he destroyed the relationship for the kids that don't even exist, but the issue is that he wants them to exist and you don't. There is no fixing that. The guy is a king. He was respectful about it. Didn't want you to blame yourself or make you compromise your decision and ended it. Big applause to him. You aren't wrong for not wanting kids. He's not wrong for wanting them. That's a huge thing you have to be compatible with one another about, though. He did what is best. Move on, and find someone like-minded. Well, children and children-free lifestyle are incompatible to the core. He has realized that such a fundamental difference cannot be ignored any longer. He is not an asshole. He is actually completely the opposite. He knows that breaking up now is the best for both of you. Instead of letting go of his goals and resenting you for it, the other option is for you to have children and resenting him for it. Both are horrible ways to live. Move on. Let it hurt. Let yourself feel and move on. I wish you the best. For the kids that don't even exist, he destroyed our 2-year relationship. No, he did it for the kids he wants to exist. You're in pain now, but you will realize that he did the right thing. This conversation should have happened much earlier, but there's no compromise that exists on this area that leaves both partners happy enough. Grieve. Then find someone who also doesn't want children. I think, right now, you're just hurting. But one day this breakup won't hurt. And you will see that this was for the absolute best. Whatever reasons you got to not have kids, they are 100% valid. And whatever reasons your ex-boyfriend wants kids, is also 100% valid. I am surprised, though, that you two are now talking about kids from the 2-year relationship. But I do applaud your ex for not stringing you along and knowing what he wants. This is a tough situation all around, but it all comes down to incompatibility. He's right that you shouldn't compromise on kids. Each partner should both want to have kids. It hurts right now, but it'll get easier one day. I absolutely promise you that. He's right. Either you give him kids and hate him, or he gives up his want to be a father and hates you. It's a no-win situation. And he didn't destroy your relationship for kids that don't exist. He did it to stay true to who he was. Yay, it sucks now, but in the end it's what's best for everyone involved. Having kids is a major life decision. He handled that perfectly given the circumstances. That's not something you can compromise on. You will both be happier in the long run with partners who have similar views. How do you get 2 years into a relationship and not know this info? He is 100% in the right. Absolutely. There is no future for this relationship. You could do yourself a favor and quit acting like he did this to you. He realized the relationship was hopeless and ended it. It is best for all involved. He's completely right. That's a really important thing to agree on. I'm sorry, but did you just expect him to be okay with not having kids ever because that's your plan? You're justified to not want kids, but he's also justified in wanting a future with someone on the same page. You're not compatible. Good. He did you a favor then. Move on. You don't have compatible relationship goals. It's okay. It happens. He is not someone you should build a life with, because one of you will have to make a very large sacrifice. There unfortunately isn't a way to make this one work out. Bringing a child into the world is not something that has a compromise. Better to find out now than to drag something out that would have an end because of this. Why didn't you bring this up earlier on in the relationship? This is a deal breaker for many people, and if you don't mention it in a new relationship, you are likely to run into this same issue. It will hurt, but honestly, you both have future plans that are not compatible in the long term. Breaking now will still allow time to heal and for you each to get the future you want. Sorry you are hurting, but this will pass. Sounds like you both should have had this conversation long ago, and maybe more than once. But if he's dead set on having kids and you're dead set on not having him, then he did you a favor. Better to suffer a big heartbreak in the short term than a series of moderate heartbreaks and resentment for the rest of your lives. You said he destroyed your relationship, but actually, there's nothing wrong with what he did at all. There are some things that don't have a compromise, and kids is one of them. The end of this relationship allows you both to find someone whose life path aligns more closely with yours. It doesn't feel like it right now and probably won't for a while, but he did you a favor. He actually made the right decision in breaking up with you. Please, please, please do not bring children in this world because you feel obligated to. It'll just make you miserable, and you'll just resent your children. You need to move on. He was right to end things, and it sounds like it's for the best. You both deserve to be with people who share your goals and values. You can't compromise on kids. There's no half option. Better rip the band-aid off sooner rather than later. He made the right decision. It's a deal breaker if you both don't want the same thing. This way you will each move forward and find someone who does. Still heartbreaking though. This is a perfectly fair deal breaker. No to kids is a massive deal breaker for many people. That's his prerogative, just like it's yours to not want kids. It's sad it went this far before one of you decided to honor your future plans. He's right. You can't kind of have kids, you do or you don't. If you were thinking about a future with this guy, this conversation should have happened already. It's not his fault he wants kids and not your fault you don't. Both of you just aren't compatible here. Move on with life. As painful as this is, he's made the right choice for both of you. Having children or not isn't an issue that can be compromised on. You should absolutely not have children when you don't want them. He should absolutely not be in a relationship with someone who doesn't want kids when he does. The only outcome of you two staying together would be resentment and eventual breakup. You both deserve to be with someone whose future goals match. Move on, and in next relationship make it very clear you want to be child-free your whole life. This is an important subject, as having or not having at all is deal breaker for a lot of people. It will save you time. I'm sorry you're going through this, but he is right. Kids are a very big thing in a serious, long-term relationship. Y'all are young. Y'all probably both assumed they didn't want kids and you ended up together as long as you did. It's good he broke up with you now over it instead of later where he resents you or vice versa. You're still so young. You'll find another amazing partner, I swear. And now you know to put your feelings about having kids on the table pretty early on when dating someone to avoid going through this again. I'm sorry. I know you're hurting. But one partner wanting kids and the other not is a deal breaker for some people. It's best to end it than put in even more time in a relationship that is not compatible. He's being 100% logical and reasonable here. You want to stay with him but you're not willing to have kids. Do you think it's fair to expect him to give up wanting kids instead? It's not, so move on. At least you all found out this deal breaker now instead of further into the relationship. Many people get married and then pressure you into having kids. He is a good guy. I see why you love him. He made the right call in my opinion. Walk away. You aren't compatible. Hey mate, in the long run this is gonna be the best option cause one of you is gonna have to compromise. Either you have the kids and potentially resent them or he doesn't have kids and resents you for forcing him into this path. It is gonna be hard if there was nothing else wrong in the relationship, but this is the right choice. Trust me, a breakup is nothing compared to being forced to be a parent when that is not the right decision for you. That's like comparing a paper cut to getting mauled by a tiger. You got off easy. Don't change your mind on kids unless it is truly you who wants children and not wanting to have children for someone else. You could easily grow to resent the decision and that wouldn't be good for your relationship or the children's lives. Best thing for you to do is focus on your career if that is what you are so driven on. Eventually someone else will come along or you might actually change your outlook on life. Seriously though, don't have kids unless you are sure you want them. He has a valid reason. You are not on the same page. He will just be wasting his time. Next date you make, tell them it clearly that you are not onto children. Good for you knowing your path in life. How the hell has the question of parenthood not come up in the 2 years you guys have been together? This is truly for the best. It's hard now, but you will find someone else someday who wants the same things. I would also consider this a learning experience. Not wanting kids is a huge deal and should be discussed. I never wanted kids and I didn't wait for it to be a topic of conversation. Anytime I started dating someone I would bring it up early on because I know it is a deal breaker for a lot of people. Next relationship, let your partner know these kind of things immediately. He's thinking long term. It's the best thing for the both of you to break it off if what you want in the future doesn't align. Think about it this way. What if you found out the person you dated for 3 years never planned on marriage and hates the idea, but you want to be married? You shouldn't try to change their mind because they could grow to resent you for forcing them to choose against what they want. He is doing the hard, but right thing here. It may hurt, but I think maybe you'll understand later. Jumping in to reiterate. I have also decided to not have biological children. I've known for a while. As soon as I see a relationship going somewhere, I bring it up. It is very important to be on the same page on this. It's a quick albeit awkward conversation. It saves a lot of heartache. Also, if you try to go back and say fine I will have kids, he will always know you just did it for him. He will always worry about you resenting him and the kids. It's not a healthy place to be. Don't do that to you, him or the unborn kids. It shouldn't even be an option if you know how you feel. Breakups suck. I feel for you. But it's not the end of the world. This is a fundamental difference that cannot be resolved. He cannot expect you to have kids if you don't want them, and you can't expect him to not want to be a parent. He is in the right here. You shouldn't be together if you disagree on something so fundamental. You were right to say you didn't want them, and to be truthful about that.